So I'm going to go into presentation mode. I should.
Oh, you can start it.
Yeah.
Try it.
It needs a internet connection.
Ja, okay. Wir brauchen unbedingt Internetverbindung, weil die Präsentatorin ihre Präsentation aus dem Internet abspielt. Don't worry.
We'll manage if it doesn't. But am I? Okay. I don't know. How do I turn it off?
Zusätzlich bitte noch Internet.
Do you have a phone? Should I get out mine? A clicker? I think I have one. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's so.
Thanks.
Then I hope it's on, or you can. Here, on now. Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Switch it on. Now I hope. Okay. Should be work.
Die fahren jetzt den Server wieder hoch.
Okay.
Das dauert noch ein paar Minuten.
Okay. This just will take 3 or 4 minutes.
So, do you want to drink something?
Oh, I'm okay. I got some stuff. And the power cable's coming too?
Yes, we are acting.
Acting.
Actually.
Acting.
A few minutes. I think that when the internet is back, also the recharging cable is also here.
Hope so.
We will let you know when you have
Okay.
5 minutes.
Sure. Are we going to start on time?
No, I guess we just will be 5 minutes delayed, so.
Okay. So I have until 50? Oh,
I guess 5 minutes more, it's okay. If we start
Okay.
later, should be no problem.
okay. Oopsies.
Okay, danke. Okay, hat sich erledigt.
Internet geht bitte, oder?
Noch nicht. Nein, es ging um irgendwelche Schilder und irgendwelche Sessions, die abgelaufen sind.
Okay.
Das Problem ist, in den Pausen quatschen die sich hier alle dumm und dämlich.
Nein.
Der Server ist hochgefahren.
Wenn nicht, können wir auch einfach mal mein Handy reingeben.
Wir haben noch ein Minute. Okay.
Ja, aber ich kann ja.
Ach so, ja, aber ich glaube, das ist dann wieder.
Hmm.
Denk mal, das Ladegerät ist unterwegs.
Ja, give 5 minutes, then it's
Verschieben wir
okay.
das Ganze 5 Minuten. Normalerweise ist das auch ganz fest. Jetzt sie nicht wichtig ist. Ja gut, das kann keiner wissen. Daniel kümmert sich ums Ladegerät. Mini für Daniel? Du kümmerst dich um das Ladegerät fürs MacBook? Das Ladegerät, das muss hier in den Hauptsaal. Und Alex hat dann das andere Teil dafür. Okay, wann ist das ungefähr hier? Danke.
So, what's up with the internet? Do you have any feedback? Or?
Ich habe eine Frage gefunden. Daniel hat den Adapter und Alex hat okay.
Well, so it would only be behind me. I won't be able to see it.
One moment. What?
I won't be able to see it over there or anything. So I only see it from here. Will I see it up there? I present
No.
just there. It's just only going to be
Just only
behind
there.
me. Huh. Okay.
Just automatic, the program of the event today. So you will only see your charts here.
Okay.
Do you
The whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
I could probably make it through without anything.
Yeah, I guess just the problem with the internet, I hope.
So let's see, where do I stand? I guess here. Okay.
We fix it in a few minutes.
Okay. I don't know what this is. Do you want to put it up here?
Yeah. Die Präsentation geht ungefähr in 4 oder 5 Minuten los, also noch ein wenig Geduld bitte.
Starting?
No, I was just trying to see if this worked,
Okay.
but I'm not getting it to work either.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Please.
So if I put this, if I do it in PowerPoint, if we can't
Yeah.
get an internet
Yeah, of course.
connection, then
Just open the slides and then.
Just trying. The internet is back again. Just try.
Oh.
Can you what's up with why this?
Oops.
Das funktioniert nur mit Windows.
This only is possible for Windows.
Oh, okay. I'll use mine.
So you have your own presenter, yes?
I think I have it.
Okay, so I will make the introducing and then.
Oh, not yet. Can you wait a second? I want to put this together.
Okay.
Oops. I'm gonna try this one. Oops.
Okay. Okay. I heard that the internet is back, so just try it again. Please.
Okay. I don't think I have anything.
Looking for networks. Okay, airport is on. Cosmos guest.
Oh, sorry. I
The guest.
didn't mean to change that. That was.
Okay. Am Apparat. Ich habe sie jetzt über WLAN registriert, weil mit dem Netzwerk und mit dem Mac hier, das will ich mir jetzt nicht antun, das dauert sonst zu lange.
Oh, looks like it's good.
Signal geht. Einen Moment, sie probiert's.
Kind of. Hey. Okay.
Wir können starten, danke.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's come to the next presentation. We have just a 5-minute delay, so the introducing will be short. Yeah, for me it's one of the highlights of the 2012 OMCap here in Berlin. Yeah, welcome Maile from Google. Yeah.
Okay.
Start.
Sure. Thank you. Hi. That's really nice of you. Hello, everyone. I'm Maile Ohye. I flew into Berlin from California, and I work from our headquarters with search and webmaster tools, which you'll see. So this session is about SEO strategy and how you can look at an overall SEO strategy and actually incorporate Google Webmaster tools. My goal is, and this is really what I'm aiming for, so hopefully this works, is to help reveal strategies that you can implement once you're back in the office. Okay, so hopefully everyone comes away with something that they can actually use. And for today's agenda, we have 45 minutes. And first we'll start with my background. Then we'll talk about Webmaster Central, which is my team, and also the community's offerings on things to help webmasters. Then creating an online strategy. How do you go about creating this strategy? Understanding your searcher persona workflow, determining the company and website goals, learning about your audience, and then once you've created somewhat of a strategy, we get to execution. Executing with help from Webmaster tools. So that's crawling, indexing, and search results. And then last is overcoming the obstacles that I hear about when I go to conferences. So just a quick, raise your hand if you use Webmaster tools. Fabulous. I wasn't sure how much I'd have to do to give background. All right, so everyone's advanced. Perfect. So let's go to my background. Not that fun to talk about. But so this is me. The first day of work in 2005 at Google. Again, I work with search and webmaster tools, and I help webmasters to build search-friendly websites. So just a few things. If you've ever seen our YouTube channel, I have SEO for startups in under 10 minutes. Using webmaster tools like in SEO. This is a few years old now, I think. This is filmed from my house. It's my house. That's my house. Okay. It's just like $1,000 US. I have a neighbor that films it. So if you look at them and you think, this is low production quality, you know why. It's just my neighbor with his camera filming this stuff. So 5 common mistakes in SEO. And then for a lot of you involved in social media, I have Google+, the +1 button, and search, where I talk about Google and identity and how we're using more identity to incorporate into search results. So that's my background. So hopefully, I think trying to establish that I have a little bit of credibility here. Not a ton, but some. And here's what my team offers. Hopefully, you're all familiar with this too. So google.de/webmasters. I'm used to saying google.com, but I will adjust it as much as I can for this talk. So this is what we have. We have 5 main products or offerings. Starts with the YouTube channel, say, and the Webmaster Central blog in 5 languages. We have Webmaster Tools, the discussion forum, and the Webmaster Help Center. That's everything under the umbrella of Webmaster Central, all available from google.de/webmasters. Webmaster Tools, 40 languages, obviously German. The Help Center, obviously in German. The forum, obviously, in German too. Do you guys know John Mueller? Okay, well, if you don't know him, he is wonderful. He's German too. He speaks like 3 languages, and that's his picture there. So he hosts German language-based Google+ Hangouts, where he talks and takes, oh, people are nodding their heads. So anyway, John Mueller, great person, on my team as well. We have the YouTube channel, and that's my colleague Matt. He's wonderful. I do work with wonderful people. I'm not exaggerating in this. He's terrific. And we have the Google Webmaster Central blog, also available in German. And so they both translate some of the content that we have from English posts, and they also write their own German posts for your market. So those are the offerings we have. Now we're going to get into the online strategy. How do you go about creating an online strategy? And I know a lot of you are familiar with doing stuff on Facebook. You're probably doing stuff with your website. You've probably worked on some type of phone app. There's all these different components, but what we want to do here is figure out your entire strategy. How can you incorporate all of this together? So first, we'll talk about the searcher persona workflow. Second, your company and website goals. And then third, learning about your audience. So this is just when you create an online strategy. These are the things we're going to look at. All right, so here's the diagram again. But what we're going to do for the rest of this presentation is I'm going to talk to you as if I'm one of you. And I'm actually going to pretend to be the SEO for the Webmaster Central blog in English, because I can't read the queries in German. And we're going to pretend that Webmaster Central is actually my company, just as this might be like your company. This example isn't real. It's only used to illustrate a point. So if I talk about these are our goals or we're trying to do this, I'm just kind of making this up to make sense. It's not actually what my team has met and we've all strategized and we've done this. So if you talk with John Mueller or Matt Cutts and you say, oh, I know your online strategy, they might be like, that's not what we're doing. But that's just what Maile talked about when she was in Berlin. Okay, so we have all these components. I'm going to pretend that I'm the SEO of the English Webmaster Central blog, and this is my company, Google Webmaster Central. Your situation obviously might look different. right? You might be the SEO for this website, and your entire company has social media effort A, say on Facebook. Effort B, say you're on Twitter. You might have a YouTube channel or a Vimeo channel, and then perhaps a phone app. So I'm going to be one of you, and hopefully you can put yourself in your own shoes and see how this applies to your company as well. All right, let's get into strategy. So, have you heard of the searcher persona workflow, or have you seen something like this? Okay, just a few of you. Okay, good. Well, this is, it's all really common sense, but it's just putting it into terms that might help you strategize better. So this is from Vanessa Fox, who was my former colleague. She actually started Webmaster Central. She's also a good friend of mine. True. Yeah, she's a big reason why I came to Berlin before with Vanessa as well. Okay, so here is what it looks like when you think about your website and SEO. It's actually not just ranking and display. Search, meaning users have to perform that query, right? If they're not performing the query you're targeting, then it's of no use. Then rank and display. Then your page content needs to meet the audience's needs so that when they click it and they come on your site, it confirms what they were searching for. And then last, conversion and their motivation to ever come back or to actually convert. So that is the workflow from here to there. That's what we're going to consider when we think about an SEO strategy, an online strategy. So what I wanted to do is, I think you can't separate the strategy from the actual people involved, and that's where I see some of the hang-ups happening. So whether you work for a big company or you are the main person who does all of the SEO, I think this can apply to you. So in the search group, the people that get users to search, to perform these queries, who know about the company or who know about that type of product, like you can imagine when Google first came out, people might not have been searching for Google. They might not even been searching for search engine that much, right? But now that's a big term. So your marketing and your business development team help create that demand that causes users to perform that query. So they work on getting all the queries and the people to search. They do other stuff as well. This is just in the persona workflow. When it comes to ranking and display, the second box there, everyone is involved. Your entire company needs to be on the same page to help your site rank, right? Your marketing team and your biz dev team needs to think about ways that they can also get links to your site, generate traffic to your site. They can't just be doing and working on their own in a silo. It has to be integrated. So everyone in the SEO are involved in ranking and display. When it comes to page content, that is when a searcher actually lands on your site. Who's involved? It is the SEO, of course, to make sure that queries match content, that they're overlooking all of the content being made. It's also the user experience person, designer at your site, and of course your content writers, authors or journalists, whoever you have. When it comes to conversion and motivation, that's often your user experience person. They've created testing to figure out what users like and what they're going to want to click on and what's going to make them want to convert, right? They make sure that the shopping cart is easily accessible and it's not that hard to log in. So these are all the roles. And I can say for the Webmaster support team, Webmaster Central team, we could have people at each of these functions. But what I want to make clear, and this is, I think, what holds a lot of people back because they might understand these individual parts. What happened? Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. Is that I want you to care about the big picture. It's not just your component. Now, if I'm the UX person, if I'm in marketing, or if I'm the SEO, I don't just care about my individual component. I have to think about me and my entire team in getting the searchers to come from search all the way to conversion. Oh, okay. So what I'm going to show you is a video, just because I get boring. So I thought I'd mix it up. And football, I know, is big here, soccer in the US. I also played soccer from age 5 through high school, pretty competitively. And it's funny because I started playing and I was a forward and I was on a really good team. And it's fun to be forward when the ball's up by the goal, your opponent's goal, because then you can just score and woo, it's all nice. But then we were ahead by quite a bit and I got put at fullback. I don't know if you guys all know what fullback is, but, or, you're on defense. Oh, that's not as much fun. First of all, you have to mark someone the whole time, and it's like you're not really scoring. And I also realized the other thing about playing fullback is that if you're midfield and your strikers, I guess you guys say strikers a lot here, kept the ball up by the opponent's goal, I wouldn't have to do that much work. right? Because we're all related, which I didn't figure out that much before, but it really is a team. And so this is kind of like the search persona workflow. The more times you can bring balls up, funneled through the field, up toward the goal, the more conversions and goals you can make. So this is kind of what it's like. I don't know what we just did. Maybe I'll just click it from here. But it's like this. You can imagine the person is the ball that kind of goes around. Right? Oh, they put in a query. Oh, they're at the social media site. Oh, they're back at the website. Oh, they went to page A. They went to page B. They went to page C. And, woo, conversion, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for, is it's going to go through this whole funnel, and we're all going to be part of a team. Okay, great. Here's where I am. All right. So where I'm at is explaining about the product that I work with, which is Webmaster Tools, and where it fits in. So Webmaster Tools is pretty much in the rank and display. We also cover a little bit about search, a little bit about page content, because we have things like rich snippets and the schematic markup on your pages. But when it gets to page content, audience need, conversion, and motivation, that's when you start usually getting into analytics territory, right? That's post-click information. So Webmaster Tools is going to help you in this part of the funnel or the workflow, and analytics kind of helps you more there. So let's think about our strategy. Now we understand the persona workflow. We understand that we need to work together as a company. We can't just be in our own individual silo. First thing I would do before I came up with an online strategy is I would get together with more people in my company. People from marketing, people from business development, my user experience people. And let's discuss what's our business goal, right? A big one, number 2, what can our product or service do that no one else can? You should be able to say this instantly as you're kind of thinking of your answers for your own company. What does success look like for us? A similar checklist can also be found in Vanessa's book. I have my own, but she has it laid out, and there's a lot more questions she puts out, so I just want to reference that as well. So let me tell you what it would be like if I were to do this for a Webmaster Central. And I'm, again, the SEO of our blog. What's our business goal? It's to help all site owners. What can our product or service do that no one else can? We can act as the official Google source of information. What does success look like? Increased webmaster community, so we have more users and more webmasters coming, and higher participation in our products and services. So I've answered these questions as if I were the SEO. Hopefully you answer it in your own way. So more questions. What components are involved? Meaning, what are the pieces of everyone's working on? And how does our website, because I'm talking about SEO and Webmaster Tools, how does our website uniquely play a part in this success? Why is the website in particular important? So, answering this for Webmaster Central. What components are involved? Again, we have 5. I'm working on the blog. What does your website, how does your website play a part in the success? The Webmaster Central blog, if I were to discuss this with my teammates, provides webmasters the latest information and announcements. So our blog gives the latest information. Our help center gives a lot of information, often articles that are long and archived information. Webmaster Tools provides that communication channel with statistics. Webmaster YouTube channel gives people an interactive way of looking at the Webmaster support team and getting tips. But the blog is for the latest information. Then, so we talked as a company. The other thing to talk about as a company is your competitors. Now, I have one slide here about competitors, and what I'd like to caution against is spending all of your time thinking about competitors and not enough about your own site. In the same way when you play soccer, right? You don't spend the whole time looking at game film of your opponents. You actually do practice and you have drills. So what do our online competitors do well? What are they missing? And if you think about what they're missing, there might be a ton of things. You might be able to list 50 things your competitors are doing that they're leaving on the table. But the important part is there a market need for the things that we could do better than our competitors? So for example, with Webmaster Central, I might say, okay, our competitors are search engine A and search engine B, but we're the official source for Google information. Well, that might be great, but if there was no market need, no one actually searched on Google, or site owners didn't really care how they performed in Google, it wouldn't make that big of a difference, right? So pick the gaps where there actually is a market need. So now we're still talking about strategy. Once we figured out what our company wants to do and where we're headed, with those goals, define metrics. The key is with goals in mind, define metrics. Don't just define metrics for the sake of defining metrics, because everyone talks about metrics. So it's a pretend situation. Another disclaimer, this isn't what we really do. So let's say my company is Webmaster Central, and my goal number 1 is to increase the Webmaster community. So given that's my goal, what are the metrics I could use? I could say the Webmaster Central blog can have unique users with page views is something we'll measure. We'll also measure subscribers, right? Because that's actually saying that we're increasing the community. Specifically, I can talk about unique users from search, from referrals, or from direct traffic. But for this presentation, because we're focused on search, we're going to just focus on unique users from search. How can I increase that? Again, if I'm the SEO, I'm building my online strategy. Okay, so the next part, if you're the SEO, is to audit your site for audience-focused content. So this is another big problem I see with some sites, is that they have so much content there, they're not actually sure what they're about. They don't know what content's good from what content's bad. They don't know how many duplicates they have. So run an audit of your site. Figure out actually what you have out there, and think about how it meets your audience's needs. So who are you targeting? Where are they located? What devices are they using? What are their objectives? Do any or some of their objectives match why your company is special, right? Do they actually want what your company has to offer? And do their query terms match your content? So just focusing on this last question, do their query terms match your content? Comes up a lot. For example, with Webmaster Central, you might have heard me say it earlier, we often say we like to help webmasters build search-friendly sites. Well, if I were to say, you know what we will do, we'll have content that talks about building search-friendly sites. If I were to look at the AdWords keywords tool and put in search-friendly, I'd see that there's not a ton of traffic for search-friendly, right? I'm talking about a term, I'm trying to reach my users with a term like search-friendly that people aren't really searching for. So make sure that your content actually matches what users are searching. I've used this example a lot, but there's a famous company in the United States that always called themselves footwear. And no one shops for footwear, right? They shop for running shoes, or they shop for track shoes. So again, make sure whatever content you have, when you do this audit of your content, your queries will match the user intent, and your content matches what the queries are. Okay, everyone with me? Okay, good, I saw nods. Okay, awesome. All right. So, places to look for audience, I'm sure you're all familiar. There's Webmaster Tools as well as analytics. This might be kind of phased out in Webmaster Tools, so analytics is a great place to go. We give you +1 button information. That's one type of hint that tells you about your audience's age, gender, location. This is in Webmaster Tools. Remember that if they're using the +1 button, often it's just a Google user, but you can get some sense of who comes to your site. So, not the entire picture. I might say, okay, it looks like for Webmaster Central, we have a lot of men, that's the blue, and they're 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. So that's just kind of getting ways to target, maybe in terms of your language or the types of fonts you use. For example, I was talking with people from the AARP, which in the United States is the Retired Persons Organization. And when we talked about font size, you should see their website and how big those fonts are, right? Because when you're kind of older, you want that large font. So, you know, go according to your age as well. That also gives an idea of tech savviness often, things like that. Younger people might want things more interactive or more videos. So, you know, you can see how you can match it to your audience. Okay, so what we've done so far is we have determined our company's goals. We've talked about the searcher persona workflow. Now let's get in, and we talked about our audience. Let's get into execution. All right, so executing your online strategy with the help of Webmaster Tools. What we're going to talk about is actually monitoring and optimizing your site at every stage of the search engine pipeline. So that's crawling, indexing, search results. Raise your hand if you're familiar with all three of these terms. Okay, good. Okay, nice. We're going to be so on time. So what I want to point out about crawling, indexing, and search results is that it's not that every page you have on your site gets crawled, and every page that's crawled gets indexed, and every page that's indexed will show in search results. That's not the case at all. The case is that the World Wide Web, this globe, is vast. It's infinite because there's all these places like a calendar where you can click every year from 2012 to 30,012, right? You could keep clicking and creating a new page, and potentially a search engine could crawl, right, until the 30,000s, the 40,000s, etc. So the web is very big, and there's a lot of URLs out there. That being said, as a search engine, we have to narrow down what we actually want to crawl. So that's a subset of the web. And then what we crawl and we determine is good content, the subset of that is what we actually keep in our index. We get rid of stuff that's duplicate. We get rid of stuff, well, not get rid of, but we group them. We also might get rid of stuff that's boilerplate. So we might have crawled 100 URLs on a website. We find out that actually only 50 of those URLs had unique content. The other 50 pages said no reviews yet, or no product here, right? That's a boilerplate content, so we didn't include that. So we crawl 100, say, we only index 50, say, and then of that 50, it has to compete against other pages on the web, and therefore only a subset of what your site has indexed can serve in search results. So again, we get back to that whole like soccer example or football example. You want to bring as many balls, right, coming toward the search results as possible. So make as many opportunities available. Okay, so that's the big state of the problem. Let's get in individually into step one of search engine pipeline. So we create our strategy, and now what we want to do is optimize that area of ranking and display, that search engine part. And ranking and display starts with crawling. So how do we crawl efficiently? How do you make sure that your site is crawled well? Oh, I double-clicked. Okay, wow, I triple-clicked. Okay, so first check your crawl errors. Crawl errors are when we receive a 503, like your site was unavailable, things like that. It's in Webmaster Tools. Know that a 404 file not found does not mean it's an error. You could definitely 404 pages that no longer exist. That's absolutely fine. Then, once you find out some of these errors, you use Fetch's Googlebot to replicate the issue. I'll cover this more in depth. And then you can also use Fetch's Google submit to index for uncrawled, new, or modified pages. All right, so that's just a teaser, but let me show you what this is. So this is crawl errors in Webmaster Tools. I'm sure you guys have seen this since you use the product. A quick snapshot tells you if there's DNS issues, server connectivity issues, robots.txt fetch issues. We give you your trend over the 3 months. And the other thing we do, just to make sure you're all aware, is that we don't just list these URLs here that had errors in alphabetical order. They're actually listed in priority by which URLs we thought were the most important. And how do we determine that? Comes down to various factors, things like how often were they serving in search results? How often are they updated? Signals that tell us that this page was probably important, and you likely did not want it to have this crawl error like a 500. So go through crawl errors, remember it's in priority order, and look for some of your important pages that might be there. We also show you the date detected and what was the response code. Now remember, if you want a certain page to rank and show up in display in search results, step one is to make sure it was crawled. So that's why we're starting here. Okay, so let's say I found a URL and I was like, that's a good page. I don't know why it had a crawl error. Well, what I do now is go to Fetch's Google. I actually enter the URL there, and I click Fetch. And then Google will actually run a fetch of that page, just kind of just a retrieval. And you will see, oopsies, gosh, I'm like happy on the trigger. Okay, you'll see if it was successful or if it failed. And if you click that, we'll actually show you the headers that we found, as well as some of the page content. So you can fully see what Googlebot sees by using Fetch's Google. Right? You can make sure that it redirected perhaps as appropriately, and you can make sure that all the content loaded that you wanted. Well, not all, up to 100 megabytes. That's Fetch's Google. The next part about Fetch's Google, if you haven't used it before, is submit to index. So you can actually say, if I found in crawl errors, this URL had an error. It was no longer crawled. I used Fetch's Google, and it was successful, even though there was an error before. If I want that included in my index, I can perform the Fetch's Google, and then I can say in this button here, submit to index. And that then pushes that URL to the next stage of the pipeline to be indexed. Right? And then hopefully available in search results. So this works for URLs that you've had crawl errors for. It also works for anything that you've modified or any new URLs. You can either wait for Google to find the new pages on your site or the modified pages on your site, as we would given kind of an automated process that we have. Or if you want to kick that off, say you launched a new campaign, or say that you noticed there was significant errors on a page. If you want that crawled and indexed quickly, then you can use fetches Google, submit to index. You have 500 per month per user of submissions. All right, so that was crawling. And next we're on to indexing. So a good tool to start with for indexing is index status. Have you used this tool? It's only a few months old. Okay, so not all of you. Okay, so maybe there's reason to go back and log into Webmaster Tools. We have index status, and let me tell you a little bit about it and how you can make it useful to you. I don't think we didn't really launch it with a ton of great help content, so it's something that we need to supplement. All right, so index status will tell you, if you go to the advanced display, again, people get that confused, the total indexed of your site, and how many were not selected, and how many we crawled overall course of time. This is kind of interesting. Now, for many websites, you will not see anything close to 100% of what you know is your total URLs with what's being actually indexed. There's going to be a discrepancy between total URLs on your site and the ones that aren't selected and then the ones we have indexed. So what do you do with the pages that you want indexed that aren't indexed? That's kind of always the question. The good news for the Webmaster Central blog is that we actually only have about 650 posts, blog posts, and then we have some like category pages. So 848 looks good to me as the SEO. I'm like, okay, all my pages are indexed. Terrific. Now, what makes a URL indexed and what makes it not indexed or not selected? Well, let me just, I'm sure a lot of you kind of have an understanding, but let's say these arrows are links, and those are coming from outside external sites, and those are internal. So the likelihood that a page is selected in the index has to do with, first of all, kind of page users as well as links coming into it. These are one of the factors. If it has good content, or if it just says something like blah, right? Nothing's very interesting. So you can imagine a page like your home page will be indexed, right? Your good content pages will be indexed. Those that are linked to probably from your good content pages will likely be indexed because that's where users might go to. The ones that won't be indexed may not have any links to them, and they might not have great content. So if you want to improve the number of pages, total pages you have indexed, think about these factors. It clicks twice every time I do it. Okay, so how do you do this? First of all, you view your total indexed URLs in index status. Then ask yourself, how close am I to my total unique URLs on my site? Right? If you're close like we are at the Google Webmaster Central blog, then you're fine. But if you're not close, what do? Check for duplicate URLs and HTML improvements. That's another feature in Webmaster Tools. I'll show you that. Use rel canonical or 301s for those duplicates. Promote your good content within your site. That means you have a good internal link structure. Also promote your content from external links coming into your site. Right, as you saw that diagram before, the external links, the internal links, they all help guide what's going to be a page that should be indexed versus a page that shouldn't. And then 3, it's going to take about a month before index status really updates to see if your work has paid off. So this is improving the number of pages you have indexed. Again, you want to search persona workflow goes from search all the way to conversion. We're talking now about rank and display, and within rank and display, we want to optimize crawling, indexing, and search results. So we're at indexing. So HTML improvements, if you haven't used it, tells you the URLs that we've seen that have duplicate title tags, duplicate meta descriptions. Internal links, which I just referred to before, are pages that you are promoting. You could think of how you are kind of passing PageRank among your own site, right? If you have a page that's orphaned with no links, then that might not be indexed. So you want to really use all of your linking structure to promote your good content. So when you go to internal links within Webmaster Tools, you can see what are my top pages and how am I linking to them. Sorry, not top pages, but what are the pages that have the most internal links? You'll likely notice that the pages that aren't ranking well don't have a lot of internal links, right? They're not being signaled to users to come through or for search engines. So how do you make sure a page is indexed? You can just do a URL query. So just copy and paste the URL and see if it's in the index. And for any pages that you want to get indexed, especially like a category or a landing page that doesn't look to be receiving that much traffic, make sure that you start linking that from your home page or other pages with a lot of internal links, right? Send those signals toward those pages. That's internal links. You could do something similar with external links. So Google Webmaster Tools will tell you who links to you and will show you the top link pages and what domains, how many domains link to them. Again, you've probably written great content and you have something good out there, and people think it's good. They're linking to you from other sites. You can use those links coming into your site to then funnel them toward other places, maybe related articles, where a user might actually go. Right? So be smart about this. I talked to a guy at a conference last week who actually said, I have 5,000 great pages, he said. It looks like I only have half of them indexed. How do I get the rest indexed? And I said, what categories are important? Do those 5,000 pages have a structure that lends them to have a category page and then link down? Or are they just 5,000 flat files that you're linking to? And that's where he started to explain that he actually didn't have a linking structure that incorporated all of them. So make sure you have a great linking structure that can bring all those pages to surface. If your site is, say, hundreds of millions, then you probably won't get all hundreds of millions indexed. At that point, look to prioritize certain areas. If you're a big like listing site, like a house listing site, yeah, you probably won't have all 5 million indexed. Focus on a certain area. Focus on a landing page in a region, right? I'm looking at East Berlin, and I'm going to focus there. And then look to get all those pages indexed. Don't just go for every single orphan page. Be strategic in how you actually bring these links to different pages and how you're indexed. Okay, so that's crawling and indexing. Now we're on search results, again using Webmaster Tools. I would love to hear your tips later too if we have time as to how you use this, but this is how I use search queries. Now this is when I'm coming into a new site. So let's say I'm coming into a new site and, but it's a Google Webmaster Central blog, and I look at the search queries page. Okay, everything looks good here. There is a lot of data, right? There's query, impressions, clicks, click-through rate. Like, where do I start? Well, here's what I do. Oh, I did. Okay. First, I start with kind of getting to know the audience. As I talked about earlier with my company goals, I'm targeting the English-speaking world, right, because it's an English blog. So I start looking at, am I actually reaching all the people that I hope to reach? So inside of search queries, there's a filters. And I can look at how are they coming in. Are they coming in from the web, from smartphones, from image search, from videos? I can also look at what areas are they coming into. You could do something similar in analytics, right? But this is directly per query. It's kind of interesting that way. And so it looks good. I feel like I am actually reaching a lot of the audiences I'd like when I want to increase my Webmaster community. One thing I might notice is actually I'm pretty weak in Australia, right? That's an English-speaking country, but it doesn't seem to be represented there. So that might be some area that I start to then get into and realize that that's an untapped audience. So get to know your audience in terms of your queries. Before we go further, let's just all get on the same page about lingo, at least English lingo for these terms. I don't know the German lingo. All right. What does impressions mean? Impressions means that your page was displayed in search results to the user. So it was on the actual page that they clicked to. Okay, so if it says, if I perform a query for Maile Ohye, and it says showing 1 of 200 results, and I only have the first page which shows 1 of 10, it says displaying 1 through 10 of 100 results. The impressions are the only results that are on 1 through 10 that I'm actually looking at. Or if I click to page 2, then I'm now seeing another set of impressions. But I'm not going to see all 100, right? The impressions are only what the user could actually see on the page. So what does it mean to have an impression? It means the user saw it, or could have seen it on the page. And what it also means is that Google considered your site's page a good result for the query. So that is something to keep in mind when you see these impressions, because your site will have a lot of ranking for queries that you don't know why you rank for, but if you click down, you realize that Google still considers these a good page. And you can use that to your advantage, and we'll talk a little bit more. Next term, click. What does that mean? That's obvious. The user selected the result. So what does that mean to you as an SEO? It means that they found the display enticing, or the other results were so bad. But usually it means that when they performed the query and they saw the impression that came up, it actually looked like it matched what their intent was, and so they clicked on it. So anytime you have a click, that means two things. It means your content matched the query, and it means that your display was good. So that's hooray for you. Again, this is the pipeline when we're rank and display. Other terms. CTR is click-through rate, of course. Percentage of the site's page that was selected in results. What this gives you is an estimate of how well the results display match to the query and the user intent. You will have a low click-through rate, even if you rank really high, if your display doesn't match what they wanted to see. So we can use this to our advantage too. We'll talk about that. Average position, of course, is where your site's page is displayed relative to others. It's harder to use this data, so I'm not going to get into that one. And then this last one, I use this term a lot. Qualified query or qualified traffic. That means that when the user arrived at your site, they were qualified, that you actually had a shot at making that conversion. I did a blog post, I think, once about vodka, and now I can rank for vodka. But when a user searches for vodka and they see my site, or my click-through rate will be really low. It won't be qualified traffic because you can't buy vodka from my site. I have one paragraph about vodka that maybe I like vodka or something, right? But it's not enough. So that's unqualified traffic. So what we want to focus on is qualified traffic. We can actually score those goals and make that conversion. So I start with clicks. It's not a huge deal where you start with, but this is what I first look at. So what I would do is I go to search queries, and I actually sort by clicks. So I pick the column that says clicks, and I sort by that. Again, search query data shows you a default of a month, but you can show up to 3 months. So what you should ask yourself, when you select clicks and you're sorting by clicks, what you're seeing here is the queries that bring your site the most traffic. That is extremely powerful. Let me just restate that. When you sort by clicks, you are seeing the queries that bring your site the most traffic. So I might think, okay, the queries that bring my site, Google, Webmaster, Central Blog, the most traffic, because I want to be the latest up-to-date information. Might be like latest blog information, latest Google change, things like that. But it turns out that that is not actually what brings my site, the most traffic. What brings my site the most traffic is Google Webmaster Blog, cool. Canonical URL, right? We did a few posts about Canonical. We announced it on the blog. I wrote that post, co-wrote. There's also other queries like Blogspot is the third most common. Again, that's unqualified traffic, right? I'm not going to rank for Blogspot or have a conversion. Canonical tag. So I can imagine, I thought my blog was about all this general news and information. It turns out what brings me the most traffic and brings the Webmaster audience to my site is actually these terms like canonical, like specific features and implementations that I've announced. There's also Webmaster blog, that looks good, things like that. So what you often find is that these queries don't match your expectations. Make sure that they bring qualified traffic. So pay attention to the ones that bring qualified traffic, because that's where you want to optimize. And then when I look at these, like canonical tag, canonical URL, given that I'm receiving so much traffic from these queries, really look to optimize those, right? Perform that query yourself and figure out, what does my search result display like? What page are they actually clicking on? You'll see the page. Is the conversion possible there, right? This is like, it's like you're finding a weakness in the opponent's defense, right? This is what you can exploit. This is already what's giving you a lot of clicks. So that's sorting by clicks. The next thing is to sort by click-through rate. I also do this. This is my second thing I do. So I look at the click-through rate for 6 months, 3 months, or 1 month. You can change the date much like you can in analytics. High click-through rate means that the search result actually probably displayed well, matched their intent. If it's a low click-through rate, that means I have some improvement to do, right? Because my page matched their query, but they didn't actually want to click. Why didn't they want to click? I have to investigate. So I start looking at, I ranked by click-through rate here. And what I noticed is, remember I do well for canonical before and rel canonical? Well, actually my click-through rate for pagination is only 40%. I think that that might be a problem. Like, I feel like if I can rank for canonical, being the one who announced it, I can probably do more with pagination. So I can look at what does it look like in displays and why aren't people clicking. If it's because other parts seem more relevant, how can I be more relevant, right? How can my snippet be more enticing or my title be more accurate? Okay. So, moving on. Oops. Right here. Okay. As you start to scroll through your queries, what you start noticing is that you have categories starting to surface, right? They're not a bunch of just randomly listed terms and maybe some outlier terms like blogspot, but you start to notice you can actually start to categorize things. And when you categorize, it helps you because, first of all, it's not this giant mass of queries. But second, you can help distribute some of this with your marketing teams, discuss what you see here. Can they help with marketing for stuff like this? Discuss with your UX people, how can we optimize these types of queries? So I start looking at branded terms. I could see things like Google Webmaster Tools blog, I'm doing great for. Google Webmaster blog, oh, I'm not doing great for, sorry. Webmaster blog, 80% click-through rate. Webmaster Tools blog, 67%. So there is no Google Webmaster Tools blog, it's just the Google Webmaster Central blog. That should be much higher, right? So I can start to notice some problems here. So pretty much assume that for your branded queries where they're actually talking about your product, you should be ranking really high. That's users actually looking for you. Those are searchers wanting to find your site. So you not only want to rank well there, you want to have high display, have them reach your site successfully. It's like, I've never had this, but in the US, we have things called, like, on these personal ads, there's misconnections, and it'll say, I saw you at the Starbucks on Friday. Like, you winked my way, and then you walked out with saying hello or something. And then someone will actually write an ad, and then they'll try to find the girl who they saw. This is like a misconnection, where someone was, like, really trying to find you, trying to find your blog or whatever, and you didn't actually answer the ad. Okay, so optimize these. Goals of the website. These are another group of queries you'll probably notice, is that these are queries that are aligned with your site's goals. These pages need to fulfill the user's need. My site's goals were to be the latest information for webmasters, right? Provide tips. I start noticing that there are actual queries like Google SEO tips 2012, Google Secrets 2012. And that's not something that I'm actually had used in my content or thought to write blog posts about, like these are the top tips for 2012. But given that I start noticing this is actually in line with my company's goals, this is where I should really start to be building content, or maybe modifying content to fit these needs. The other one I might notice, and you'll notice this, you'll probably divide your query terms into like 5 buckets, is that you want to capitalize on maybe kind of the long tail queries or things that you didn't expect. Like, how many keywords should I use in a meta tag? We haven't talked about keywords on our blog for 4 years, but yet this actually receives traffic. People keep asking about keywords. So I can look to do that as well. So we've divided our queries into relevant categories. I am running short on time, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. So that's search queries. The last thing I want to talk about before I get into obstacles is top pages. I don't know what happened. Huh. Oh, I'm frozen. Okay, that's not nice. Whoops. Okay, I'm just going to do it from here just because I'm running out of time and I don't want to keep you guys from your next session. Okay. So there's top pages. Can you see this? Also in search queries, it's another tab right here. I don't think it's utilized that well. So there's search queries, and then there's a top pages. And this will tell you the top pages that Google has for your site, the top pages that return results in queries. So this is pretty fantastic information. You might think that your top pages are the ones like your certain category pages, or I might think mine are like maybe the blog posts that I wrote are the best or something. But it actually might be kind of shocking to you. Because what you'll start to notice is that what actually is returned a lot in search results is stuff like your homepage will probably be first, and then it's pages that you wrote years ago, or content that you didn't even know was important. And now you can see how how Google and other users are starting to see your website. They don't see it the way you do in terms of this perfect hierarchy. They're actually coming in at certain places and having their own idea of what's valuable. I don't know why I'm using a lot of dating references, but it's like, you think that you have nice hair and nice shoes, but someone likes you because you have a great family, right? So you don't know. You think it's one thing, but this is kind of what's telling you. This is what actual searchers are into. So to just optimize those pages, right? Make sure the conversion can happen on those pages. Again, we're just wrapping up a little bit. Webmaster Tools helps with the ranking and display. But remember, if you want to increase your conversions and increase your business, it's not just about ranking and display. It's not just about that middle part there. You can improve all the steps in the persona workflow to actually increase conversions and your business. If your marketing team can get more searchers to search for different queries, so you have 1,000 people, 60% of the time clicking through to your site, that's a lot higher than just having 100 people, right? So that improves your business without even working on ranking and display. If you have great content, so once they get to your site and you start to upsell different things, that can increase your business. Or in the conversion part, if you have a great user experience, people are telling their friends about it, they want to come back to your site and do the same business again, that can increase your business. So it's not just about ranking and display at all. It's about a lot of other things as well. So, just a little bit more here. Obstacles that I hear often that make doing the right thing difficult. So now you all know you have to have company cohesion. You have this search persona workflow. You have to optimize these different steps and work together. Here's what I hear. Maybe you've said one of these in German before, or maybe English too. I'm not the person responsible for all this. I just run department X. I need to know the keywords of my competitors. I need to know what sites are linking to my competitor. Does my competition already have a social media presence? Search engine algorithms keep changing. I can't keep up, right? All those things happen. I hear that all the time. I know it must be difficult. It's true. It does change often. But imagine that you're playing football, right? Again, with that whole football thing. Soccer to me. And go for it. You just have to keep getting out there, practicing, know your game, run your drills, prepare for your competitors. Create an integrated strategy inclusive of all the components that you're working on, whether it's on social media sites or whether it's a phone app. Make sure that everything can convert. Determine your goals, and with those goals, make logical metrics. Maximize the existing search traffic by optimizing crawl, indexing, and search results, and work with your entire team when improving your online business. Because success is much more than ranking. I think that's it. Yeah, we're done. Okay, so last thing, if you want to know about any more resources, you've seen this slide several times already today, google.de/webmasters. Thank you for having me. Enjoy being here.
Thank you very much for the presentation. So we have time for one question,
Oh, we do.
I guess. So any questions? Yeah? Please wait one moment.
I have a question about the indexing. How does the crawler decide which page will be indexed or which page will be not indexed? Is it the whole content from the site? Is the bot just checking the metadata? How he decide?
Okay, you're saying how do we determine if a page should be indexed? It's what I showed before. It's what are the signals that would bring users there? What kind of links does it have coming into it? Is the content unique and not found someplace else? How fast does that page refresh? Right, if you change the content a lot, that's a signal that's an important page. So all these signals, good content, good links within your site, good links from other sites, all bring in and make a page index versus not indexed. If you have more, I can answer it. I don't want to keep everyone, but I'm happy to talk for a little bit. Yeah? Okay. Sorry to keep you a few minutes after.
Oh, good. Thank you very much for the presentation. We have a little present for you.
Oh.
So enjoy it. You've just talked about vodka, so
Oh my
here
gosh,
ones
yeah.
from Berlin. And of course here.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks. Oh, cute. Thank you. Oh, it's a Berlin bear. Yeah? Yeah.